I left Ukraine for the first time 9 months before the war to study. We got back February 21st. The war kicked off.
Vika, come on, go. You got to go, and I will figure things out.
I'm from Yavoriv, home to the Yavoriv military base. I'm telling my husband, if you're thinking about serving, let's go to Western Ukraine, go to the Yavoriv military base, get some training, and then join the army.
I made it clear from the start that I'd enlist in the army to defend the country.
But then my whole family would insist that I go to Poland because I'm fluent in Polish. My husband said, as long as you are safe, I'm good to go and do my job.
When you are on your own, it's simpler. If a missile hits you, so be it. You just wouldn't give a damn. When I headed to sign up, deciding to join the army, I kind of had it in my head that there's no turning back. I made up my mind right from the start that I wouldn't come back to her, to our normal life. It's a one-way ticket.
So I took off. First, I volunteered at the Refugee Assistance Center. Then I snagged a job and we started making documentary films about Ukraine. A real passion project for me. And then, surprise, I got pregnant, thanks to a pretty successful visit to my husband. I am planning on heading back right now. My husband isn't too keen on the idea of me returning with our kid, but I'm working on convincing him. We were both part of the Moto Help volunteer crew, doing first aid on motorcycles and giving out medical and legal tips, staying within the law. We would guide on how to fill out an explanatory note, take pictures from the accident scenes. Started off just for bikers, but then we began to transport urgent blood samples from blood centers to hospitals. That's where we crossed paths, in the organization. I worked the dispatch, and he was out on the field. Our best dates took place at crash sites in Troyeshchina. So it kicked off with some messy reports and ended up with a little one.
A little one came into the world. I was pretty straightforward about it. She shares glimpses of him in video calls, sends me photos. I told her straight up, Vika, I've got a war going on in my head right now. Honestly, I don't feel inside that this is my kid, that I have a family. In my head right now, I'm replaying what I went through with my buddies, what happened and what could happen next.
Little Marcus is gonna grow up and we will have not just one, but maybe 2 or 3 motorcycles. You'll get the hang on riding them.
Later, when I took my first break, cradled the baby in my arms and spent some time in that cozy family vibe, that's when it clicked. On my way back, driving back to the home base, reflecting on what I went through, how I felt, I realized I want to witness my kids growing up, be with my family, and simply enjoy a happy, long life.
He started off as a volunteer soldier, but then he went back to Kiev and signed up with the ZSU. We had a little saga right when I was having our baby. He was in the special forces doing combat missions near Le Mans. I'm torn between wanting to cry or laugh when I think about that chapter of our life.
During my first combat experience, I was with a buddy, and thank God he was by my side. Together, we rescued our fellow fighter, the senior member of our group, who had his left hand amputated by shrapnel. Under precise tank fire, we pulled him out. Even in the midst of the Russian tank firing at close range, in the grove where we were hiding, we pulled him out alive. He's doing well and in good spirits.
He's had 2 concussions, and the first was, let me think. I believe I was in the maternity ward, and he called me using one of the doctor's phones. He goes, "I'm at the first aid station, heading to the hospital now. I will ring you up once I'm back." I remember them saying he had a few days off after the concussion, but he skipped that. Went back on a mission and got concussed again. His second concussion hit me hard too. I was so stressed about him that I lost my milk. Nowadays we chat on the phone every day, but during his missions we might not talk for several days. The baby was in the incubator back then, and there was no way to reach the husband. Little Marcus spots him on video calls, always showing off something. Initially, it was his hands on the screen. Then, when he lost a tooth, he'd open his mouth wide to display it. He knows he's dead. "We are dialing up Dad, Marcus." "Marcus, share something with Dad. Let him know how you are doing."
You're on your feet now, yeah? Finally standing. Are you in shock? Seems like it.
You made him a bit shy.
He just looks exhausted. Yeah, you're right. Your word is a law. How are you doing?
It's cool. Everything is good.
I talk to Marcus, and when he smiles there, even when he just sees me open his eyes, that's it, he immediately smiles, starts laughing. It brings joy, inspiration to come home alive. Did he cry today?
Well, he cried a little last night, but that's okay. And the second tooth is coming in.
Never mind. You'll join the army and realize that these are not important.
Why in the world does he need the army? Well, he wants you, trying to get through the screen anyway. The main issue is that neither of us fully grasps each other's emotional states. I can't and will not be able to completely understand what he's going through and what he's experienced. In his situation, it's all a matter of life and death.
For me, the war takes the top spot, but for her, it's all about family and the kid. That's the backdrop that led to confusion between us. We are living in entirely different worlds. See, I'm dealing with life and death situations here, while she's facing, honestly, everyday problems that can be sorted out.
For me, it's emotionally challenging, dealing with everyday emotions. When you come home, you're not sure what to do with the baby, with myself. You realize you have to work because this is war. Baby or no baby, you have to work because there's a chance the husband might not return. We don't rule that out.
It doesn't work for me at all if you tell me, everything's gonna be fine, hang in there, you are doing great, you are awesome. No, it just doesn't hit home for me at all. I guess because, I don't know, when people shoot me messages like that, I'm thinking, yeah, sure, but you're just sitting there, clueless. It's easy to type words. Maybe it fades away somehow over time.
He'll be back. He needs to know everything is good here. A cozy home awaits him. Just coming back to join the family. The other option is life goes on. if he doesn't make it. I teased him that he's married to Ukraine, and I am his mistress.
You end up saying all sorts of things in the heat of the moment. Then, as you reflect, you realize that was all nonsense. I need to fix it. And sometimes, well, it turns out you can't fix it. So emotions, especially after intense events like combat situations, for the first day or two, the emotions are overwhelming. Dealing with what happened, the frustration, questioning if you did something wrong or missed something. When you are boiling with emotions, you might blurt out things. Even if your significant other is trying to support you from all sides, you might still start saying stuff like, "Why I need this? You don't understand, oh come on, you're just sitting there doing nothing, and I'm stuck here." And it just goes on. That's how it is. It's better to let those emotions out for a day or two, get angry, go for a drive, maybe hit a tree or something. After that, with a calm and clear head, you can have a more rational conversation.
After my husband got a concussion right after I gave birth, well, for a woman, it's such a hormonal roller coaster when she can't control her emotions. Yes, I went through it, I admit, and we even had some small fights because of it. I would say, "You don't understand what's happening to me, in what state I am." And he would respond, "You don't understand in what state I am." That's when I thought about talking to a counselor, because I said to myself, okay, I need to get at least a bit closer to understanding my husband, what he's going through. Even if I don't fully grasp it, at least I will know how to be there for him. That's how the How to Be a Warrior's Beloved One YouTube channel was born.
Where else are you gonna find a girl like that? The one who helps you get through it all, got your back, and then gives you a good scolding for it.
There are thousands of women like me who, at some point, stop understanding what's happening to their husbands.
At some point, everyone starts to realize that you need to support each other somehow, because all this fighting, saying things like "you don't understand me" and all that, gets you nowhere. If you want to keep your family together, you've got to do something about it. We've had our fair share of arguments about this, because even where we are far apart, she wants to feel supported, especially when things get tough. Unfortunately, it's tougher for her, because she's left without her parents.
I was in my 8th month of pregnancy when I attended my dad's funeral. We'd been searching for him for 11 months. He died on May 5th, 2022, and we buried him on April 7, 2023. He was already on a military pension, but when the full-scale invasion started, without informing anyone in the family, he came home and said, "I went to the military enlistment office. I am joining the territorial defense." "Dad, what? You're limping. Your health isn't all right." "I will be useful there. I must be there." It turned out to be our last meeting. We met near the Yavoriv military base, had coffee together, and took 2 pictures. One was at the gas station. 3 cups of coffee, Mom, me, and Dad. My dad looked 10 years younger. He got a spring in his step wearing that military uniform. I thought, wow, my dad has gotten younger. He's so happy to be back in the military. The conversation somehow went like this. "Dad, I love you." And he replied, "I love you too." And that turned out to be our last talk. In the morning, Dad didn't get in touch. Mom called and said, "No one there is responding." We were sad that a bomb hit that spot. So we searched for 11 months, and all we found were 3 fragments of one bomb belonging to Dad. He was right at the center of the explosion. He was an experienced sapper, having been through Yugoslavia. He taught everyone, led his group of sappers. Later, they came over to see us, saying, "Petrovich taught us everything. We owe him so much. How are we going to be without him now?" Everyone loved him. When he was buried, the whole city turned up. I had no idea so many people knew my dad. He was genuinely beloved. Dad always dreamed of grandson because he had only girls. Well, my son inherited my dad's ears. My dad had protruding ears. Mom couldn't bear the loss. Dad was just everything for her. Mom didn't want to live. She said that the cemetery is the only place where she feels comfortable and wants to be with Dad. She was in a lot of pain, unable to pull herself together. Well, they are always with me. I know that. I am 50% mom, 50% dad, so I can always talk to them. My dad used to do embroidery. We've got this massive collection of his embroidered pictures back home in Ukraine. Our walls are like a canvas of Dad's art and icons. Dad even made me an embroidered shirt. Sadly, it's not with me now because I planned to get married in it, but I couldn't fit into it after giving birth, so I left it in Ukraine. What I do have here is my family's embroidered ritual towel. So, this is our family ruchnik towel. My grandma started embroidering it from one side, my grandpa from the other. It got left unfinished because my grandpa passed away, and then my dad finished it. When I was in school, there was this tradition where they'd put the towels together like a house and let the graduating students walk under it, sending them off to their new lives from under this symbolic house. I was under one of these family towels, feeling the protective power of family. The memory is something I'm passing on to Mark. It's like a protective charm. Little Marcus, you might not grasp the power of this flag yet, but it's the mightiest thing in our house. Second only to you, of course. I found out I was pregnant for the first time when I was at 4 weeks. It was pretty much the first month as we knew it, and by the second month he was already off to war. It was only then that we got to know the meaning of the name Marcus. Turns out it's from the god Mars, the warrior. It's just tough when you lose people, and you're left alone with that. Just because the husband is at war, the parents are gone, and you go, holy moly. Unfortunately, it's not the kind of story you see in the movies. Overall, gazing at the Vistula, I imagine I'm standing over the Dnipro River. somewhere in Kiev, on Podil.